Good morning, welcome back to CES 2016. My name is James True. We're here live on the Engadget stage. Joining me this morning, Nick Woodman, CEO of GoPro, founder of GoPro, Mr. GoPro. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well, James. Thanks for having us.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us. We've got loads to talk about. It's been a really big year for GoPro. I think probably one of the most interesting years in a little while. I've been following your company since a couple of cameras ago, at least. And I think 2015 seems to me the year that it's the first time you went off script a little bit. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, 2015 was a very interesting year for GoPro. And I think in terms of off script, are you talking about this little guy with Session?
Yeah, I mean, we since the Hero, I don't know, you can correct me, but like the Hero HD, around then the cameras kind of looked fairly similar, and since the 3 Plus, it's looked exactly the same, right? Yeah. So the Session was, of course, not just completely different. It was just like a whole new game.
Yeah, I mean, what we tried to do with Session is make the easiest to use GoPro ever, and we really tried to reinvent ourselves and say, if we were to take everything we know about GoPro, the good, the bad, the ugly, and we were to design a new product that is the most streamlined, efficient, convenient, easy to learn, most invisible camera possible, what would we build? And we spent 3 years developing Session, and I think we've achieved it. Session is this simple, elegant, refined one-button experience. Even though I can have any GoPro that I want, I use Session 95% of the time just because it's so convenient. But I think it was a bit confusing to people because it's the first GoPro that we've ever made that didn't look like a GoPro. And we pitted it against silver at that $399 price point, which I think also confused people. But now that we've course corrected and priced it appropriately at $199, it's one of our best-selling cameras.
Right, and I think that's the important thing to know about Session, isn't it? Because it was you said, like, obviously people were surprised at how it looked because they're used to the GoPro camera and what it looks like. My first instinct was, will all my accessories work? That's the first thing, right? Because I think any serious GoPro collector, of which there are many, has like a sort of a quiver of their favorite mounts and stuff like this. And if you're used, so for example, if you've got the frame, this comes with a frame, but if you've got stuff like that, it's not going to work. Was that an anxiety point when you were developing it?
Well, no. I mean, our loyal customers have come to know that we make everything backwards compatible, and that we always try to take care of everybody, and we don't want anybody to be left out if we come out with something new. That our goal is that your older GoPro will work with anything new we make, and vice versa. So maybe we didn't do the best job of communicating that, but that was always our intent from the beginning, and I think it's played out that way where Session is in an interesting intersection for us because, and for our customers, it's the first product that we've made that's far and away the best entry-level GoPro anybody could ever buy, just because out of the box you can learn how to use it in 2 seconds. It's just a simple one-button control.
So this is $199 at the moment,
this is
right?
$199. And I think we really nailed the simplicity aspect of the product and the fact that my 1.5-year-old can use it. And that's something that I've always been very envious of Apple, that with iOS, they developed a user interface that toddlers know how to use, and just walk up, swipe, and press, and they can launch movies and games and whatnot. And frankly, before Session, we were very far from that with our other cameras. They're not the most intuitive. We acknowledge that.
Oh, come on. Once you get the muscle memory down, the click, 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 click.
You have to really want it, right? You have to really want to use a GoPro to learn a GoPro. But I think that with Session, we've conquered that. My 1.5-year-old knows to pick it up, press the button, follow me around, and he's obviously modeling me because he also puts it in
the teeth.
He puts it in his mouth. But that's something that I think that we've absolutely nailed in terms of simplicity. But at the same time, that Session being the perfect entry-level GoPro, it's also the perfect second or third GoPro for existing customers who might already own a black or silver camera. And so that positions this very uniquely in our lineup and gives Session a really important place in GoPro's future.
So how does that reflect on the Hero line, the much more entry level? So say I've got a couple of $100, but like, am I going for Session or might I want the Hero LCD Plus? There's kind of still a proximity between those two in the price.
Yeah, I think that what you're going to see over time is our product lineup become much more straightforward for the consumer. And I think you're going to see a lot of the refined user experience that we have in Session make its way into the traditional Hero line. Right,
so I was going to ask, how much of Session might we see in Hero 4 Plus or whatever you like? Do you think we might be inheriting, there might be some upwards knock-on effect? We might see a change in the camera shape or some sort of bleeding of features?
I think what our customers can count on is that future GoPros will be increasingly simpler, fewer parts, and our goal is to make it very easy for our customers to make the decision to pick up a GoPro and use it. And that's all about simplicity, efficiency, and making the user experience as seamless and invisible as possible.
So I'm sure you've got plenty of cameras, maybe more cameras planned for next year, but are we likely to see a Session 2 or Hero 4 Plus? Can you sort of hint in which direction we might go there?
Well, I think that if you hear me saying that this is my favorite GoPro, and that the feedback from our customers is that those customers that have used the Session, it oftentimes becomes their favorite GoPro. It's clear that we're going to continue with this form factor and continue to evolve it and bring more performance to this form factor. But then we're working on a lot of fun things, including flying GoPros and all sorts of fun stuff like that.
Flying GoPros. What could you be talking about?
Karma, of course.
Okay, so let's talk about this, right? Because I'm a drone guy. There's a whole bunch of drones here. I don't know if you've only got here this morning. You told me, right? You have to go and check out the UAV section over in South because it's kind of it's incredible, right? There's a drone here which can fly a human. They say it can. I mean, no one's seen it working. So drones, big deal. 2016. It's not good enough just to do your bog standard quadcopter that can fly and pick stuff up. So how is Karma going to be different?
Well, what I can tell you is that we're taking everything that we know about our customers' use of our products and the types of scenarios that they want to document, and we're factoring that into the design of Karma. And Karma will be, more so than any other drone, I think, designed to be woven into somebody's active lifestyle.
Okay, so you say woven into an active lifestyle. Right now, we've already got quadcopters that can follow you. We've got quadcopters that are waterproof. We've got quads that are designed to carry GoPros. So you've got Solo, which I know you're familiar with because they worked with you, I think, on some of their development. So I guess I know you guys won't be satisfied just to equal that. So I guess there's something else that you must be doing.
Well, what I can say is GoPro has been as successful as we are because we've made the world's most versatile capture devices that no matter how you want to use it, a GoPro works very well for that application. And we're applying that same thinking to our approach to Karma.
And so I've already got a couple of GoPros. I don't, imagine I buy Karma. Does it come with the camera, or do you think, or can I use my GoPros with it?
I can tell you that a little bit later this year.
You can tell me what, sorry?
I could tell you that a little bit later this year.
Okay, so I guess you're suggesting that maybe not ready to reveal that yet, but Karma's close? How close?
As we've shared, we're releasing Karma globally first half of this year.
And who are you pitching at, really? Are you pitching people like me who are sort of amateur GoPro enthusiasts who like to go and do stuff, or maybe the slightly more serious filmmaker? Because I know you guys use quadcopters a lot in your media team use them as well. So I'm guessing if anyone knows how they want it to work, it's those guys. So who's it going to be for? I'm guessing you're going to tell me it's probably both, but if you can give us a little hint.
Well, I mean, I think that you can look at how we've positioned our cameras and made them appealing to consumers, mom and dad, myself, all the way up to professional athletes, to professional content creators who are producing film and television. I think that's one of the strengths of GoPro, is that the same product that you buy off the shelf at Best Buy or your local surf shop or ski shop can be used by everybody, and there's a incredible level of performance, yet there's also an incredible level of accessibility, and we're taking that same approach with Karma.
I think that's like, you touch on a good point there, which I think has been one of your sort of key success stories, really, is that you just need to watch a wildlife documentary or something like this, and you'll see that they're using GoPros for some of their other angle shots and stuff like this. But these are the same cameras that me and everyone else here can buy, right? Is that a difficult balance to strike, or has that been serendipitous?
It's actually not as difficult as we thought in the early days to be this one-for-all company, because from the very outset, we were totally focused on quality. And I think achieving that quality was harder years ago. But now, thanks to the strength of our engineering team, GoPro is over 1,500 strong now, and we have some of the most passionate and talented product designers and engineers and technologists in the world. And so our ability to democratize professional quality capture and make it available to consumers and professionals at consumer prices. I mean, you're seeing that not just at GoPro, but across all consumer electronics devices. The level of performance is such that consumer is performance or professional quality now, and the delta between true professional and what consumers can buy is very small delta. And so I think that we've just done a terrific job of consistently delivering and becoming known as a brand that delivers professional quality capture devices at consumer prices, and that's at the core of GoPro, and that's something that will continue.
So I agree on the point there, but there are sections of your business where you are slightly more focused on professional endeavors. You do some sort of enterprisey stuff, but it's still kind of cool. Like I think a big area, if you correct me if I'm wrong, is going to be 360 video and VR. I think you're really well positioned to start with that. There are cameras that do this out of the box and instantly, but a lot of people already have multiple GoPros. They can put them in a rig, shoot 360 video. I know it's something you guys are working on. How important is 360 and VR video for you guys, say in 2016 or going forward?
Yes, we have our 16 camera array that we've developed with Google, Odyssey, and then we have our 6 camera array that we're releasing first half of this year with full camera sync between 6 GoPros. And as you noted, GoPro is already a standard for how most professionals are capturing VR today. They're already taking 6 GoPros and using various rigs to create a cluster of GoPros to capture spherical content for VR. So in many ways, we are already in this leadership position. But we have to be very aggressive and move fast and continue to capitalize on that. And it's incredibly important to us, because as soon as you have a really good virtual reality viewing experience, the type of content and the type of life experiences that people can capture with a GoPro, as soon as you have that viewing experience, you recognize, okay, this isn't a question of if, it's a question of when this type of content and viewing experiences become mainstream. And just as GoPro has become what it is today for enabling traditional fixed perspective content in this immersive GoPro-like way, it's clear that spherical VR content capture is the future, and we're well positioned to capitalize on it. I
mean, you guys purchased Color, the software that's designed for stitching these things together. You kind of been working on spherical rigs, and like you say, you've been working on the Odyssey rig. But these are kind of, it's still quite a high investment for a consumer, right? Because oftentimes you need at least maybe, I think, 6 or 8 cameras, which isn't something, much as I'm sure you would love everyone to have 6 or 8 GoPros, isn't necessarily the situation for everyone. So how are we going to make creating this content more accessible for the sort of consumers that buy 1 or 2 GoPros?
Collapsing a 6-camera rig into something much smaller and usable for a consumer, but not sacrificing any of the quality that GoPro's known for. And that is an effort that we have underway.
So you're already working on a product related to this, do you think? Or you're just kind of...
Yeah, absolutely.
So now that you guys were sort of... There was a comfortable sort of dependency. Every year it would be like the GoPro Hero 3, the Hero 3 Plus. This is, as we've established, 2015 has shown that that's not happening anymore. You guys have got many more thumbs and many more pies. So do you find yourself bumping into more... You've got more competition now than you've ever had. Who do you consider to be your main rivals at the moment, whether it be in camera, VR?
Well, we do have a lot of competition, but you have to remember we've had competition for years. It's just every year the media pays a bit more attention to GoPro, and certainly now that we're public. And so the media then becomes a bit more aware of competitors to GoPro. But the truth is we've had significant competition since shortly after the HD Hero, when we kind of shared with the world that this category was really exciting and there was a lot of growth opportunity. And I think that the pace of innovation, the quality of products that we release, and the strength of the brand and our global distribution serves us really well. But competition is good. In the early days, it was hard to drive awareness. It took a lot of money to drive consumer awareness that GoPro even existed, this type of capture even existed. So having a few other big brands out there beating the drum and driving consumer interest in these types of products is actually a good thing, because it helps us expand the overall market.
So the thing is, with the action camera, that was a market that you pretty much defined, right? You guys pioneered that stuff pretty much all the way through. Like you say, you always had rivals, Contour, Sony, whoever, right? But it was something that's pretty much always been led by GoPro. But when you're looking at something like drones, quadcopters, and VR, these are established markets, or at least have established players, right? You guys are kind of new to quadcopters and UAVs. There are some pretty big names already dominating. So is that a different challenge for you to sort of compete?
Sure, it's a different type of challenge, but in some ways though, it's the same challenge, in that the reason why people are purchasing a quadcopter or drone is to capture incredible content. And that the whole drone movement really took off when people started attaching their GoPro to their drone. And so in many ways, even though we don't officially have a product out in the market yet, we're very closely associated with drones by consumers. And I think a lot of consumers, sometimes they'd see a drone flying around and say, oh, it's a GoPro. And so I think that we're very well positioned to leverage our brand, our global distribution, and the consumers expecting this from us. So I think rather than starting from a complete standstill and needing to take a lot of time to get to a place of significance in that category, I think that we can do pretty well out of the gates.
Okay, so I think we're coming to a close now, so I want to ask you one last quick question, a bit of a fun one. I know you've been doing the GoPro Awards, which is to sort of promote a little bit of video content. Tell me some of the coolest stuff you've seen coming out of that so far.
Oh, I think the coolest GoPro Award video is one that hasn't even been submitted yet. It's one I captured of
one of your own?
Yeah, of my 1.5-year-old son, Bodhi. We went skiing over holiday, and I've got video of my 1.5-year-old skiing. I'm in front of him skiing backwards, filming him with my session, and he had his milk sippy cup. And I think might be the first 1.5-year-old to ski down a mountain with a sippy cup and sip from it as he goes. So Bodie Miller drinks beer and skis, and Bodie Woodman drinks milk from a sippy cup and skis.
So a little bit of favoritism maybe going on there?
I'm trying to get the kids sponsored at an early age.
Okay, no worries. Well, thanks very much, Nick, for joining us. I wish you the best for 2016.
Thank you, James.
No worries. Stay tuned for more coming up live from the Engadget stage. Thank you very much.